We're working in Camtasia Online. This is the home screen for that application. We're going to click the green button to start a new project. At this page, we're going to make an election on what we're going to record. We can record the screen, or just the camera, or screen and camera. I just want to record the screen. After making that selection, I have some choices. I have Microsoft Edge open, so I've got some options to record Edge tabs. I have two of them that are available, Washington Post and an email app. I can also record a window. If I click this, I have various window tabs that are open that I could record if I wanted to. Or I can go to the entire screen. And if I want to do this, I have to select this before I can proceed. But I'm going to do a Microsoft Edge tab. I'm going to elect to record the Washington Post tab. So I'll select that. You can see its image here. I'm also going to pick up any audio from the tab. I'm going to leave this radio button where it is. If I didn't want audio, I could turn it off, but I'll turn it back on. And to start the process, I need to click the share button. Here, I've got some choices to make. Over here on the left I can determine what type of video I want to have and how it looks. A lot of these are videos embedded in a background. A lot of them have borders. I'm going to choose this guy here. Looks like he has mostly video, not much border. I'm also going to go to Customize to make sure that there's no effects I don't want. In this case, I don't want a border, I don't want corner rounding, and I don't want a drop shadow. So none of that for me. We'll go back to close. We still have this. This should give us kind of a plain vanilla, video. Over here, we have a view of what the capture is going to look like. This is the current Washington Post tab view. Down here are the controls to start and stop the Camtasia Online recorder. To start the recorder, I'll click this button. I'll do that now. There's a 5-second countdown. I'm going to navigate to the tab in Edge. We should be recording. You can keep an eye on the Online tab, and it will show you the progress of the recording. Keep in mind that there is a 5-minute limitation. We're now in the Washington Post tab, but there are red borders shown around the capture area here. It excludes my taskbar, which is out of sight on the bottom, and it excludes the browser address area and tabs above it. So we're just looking at the current screen areas being captured here. Now one thing that's interesting is that while we're in this view, I can go full screen using F11, and that changes the actual size of the recording area. So we just popped up to full screen. I can still see my information a little bit above it. That allows me to stop sharing. F11 will once again take me out of full screen. And by the way, if I need to go back to where my controls are for the recorder, etc., I'll navigate to the Camtasia Online tab. I'll click it, and back there, I can get access to the recorder buttons down here. You can see the stop is available. We've been at this for a minute, 35 seconds. I'm going to point out that there's a 5-minute limitation on any single capture. However, you can put as many 5-minute captures as you want into a single project. Each one of these captures is being called a scene in Camtasia Online. We're now doing this. I'm going to go back to the Washington Post tab itself. I'll scroll down a little bit here. Maybe there's an article I want to look at. So I'm going to use the Control key and then click the link, because I don't like to open in the same tab. So I'll do that. I now have a new tab to go to, and if I want to, I can read this. And I think we've done enough capturing of the Washington Post. Now, I have two choices. I have a button that says Stop Sharing, or I can go back to the Camtasia Online page, and I can stop the recording using this button. So I'll do that. We're now back in the Camtasia Online working page. And what I'm going to do is point out that down here, your first scene has been indicated. And over here, we have a display view of that scene. I can scrub it if I want and go through it. And, I think I jumped to full screen now. I'm not sure. You can see me doing my thing. And, of course, if I want to, I can play it.
We should be recording. We're now in the Washington Post tab. You can see or you can't see, but there are.
What I'm going to do is point out that you can now trim this also. You can click the trim button, and you can trim the beginning and the end of that capture. So let's trim from the beginning, and we'll start here, I guess, just for the heck of it, and we can trim from the end. I guess I probably want to keep all that, but I could cut off some if I wanted to. When I'm done trimming, I'll click the Done button. And now if I scrub, I'm just going to see the stuff that I left in there. So that's how trimming works. And when I'm finished doing that, I have some options up here in Export. I can click this button, and if I click this big green button here, I will export this project down to my PC. And if I have Camtasia 2025 installed, either as a full version, or even as the trial version, this will work. I can click this button. The project will download into the editor. If I don't want to do that, I can export it to screencast.com, and go directly there, and have a video to watch. Or if I just want to download the project as a standalone project folder to be worked on later in Camtasia, I could click this button. But for this example, let's open this in Camtasia editor. So let's do that. Camtasia 2025 is blinking, telling me it's coming down. I'll select the app, and that project has downloaded. It shows up on the timeline as a grouped asset. And what I'm going to do is use Ctrl-U to ungroup that. These assets all come down as 3 parts. The item on track 1 is actually a background image. If I disable track 2, which is the actual video screencast of what we did, if I disable that, this is the background that we would have had, which in this case is pretty much nothing. But I'm not going to have a background, so I can select this and delete it with no problem. Then I'll put my video track back in. That's track 2, and track 3 is the audio. And with this guy in place, you can treat this as any normal Camtasia project. Let's jump up here to the bin. I want to point out that the 3 items we downloaded in that project were listed up here in the media bin. These 2 items here, the video and the audio, come down as MP4s. However, that background that I deleted came down as this crazy name. And if I right-click and delete in used media because I've deleted it, it's gone from this project. So wanted to point that out. Now that we have this project here, I need to save it. So let's go ahead and save it. We'll do Alt-F-A. Going to call that WP for Washington Post. I don't want it to go up in the location being targeted automatically. This directory is where these downloaded projects get dumped into your user app data folder for some reason. I don't like that. I'm going to put it in my working folder here, Washington Post, save it there because they get lost in space otherwise. Hard to work with. So now we've saved the project. Let's navigate back to the Camtasia Online tab. This little notice dialog stays open till you close it. And now, I see I forgot to save my project. So let's call it WP, tab out of that, and to go back to the Camtasia Online home screen, I can use the back button here. And here's my WP project saved. If I want to use it in the future, I can come back here and click on it, or I can click here to edit, or click this to delete it.